So grape, you know, or maybe it's time to get to know again, Merlot from Tenuta, Luisa. We've got an excellent pairing for it, and I don't know, it's one of the great grapes of the world, and it's worth getting to know or refamiliarize yourself with. More on that in a minute. So more on that pairing. So if you come back down this way, sorry to make you do all that work. This is lamb tartare. Really simple. Basically, go to your butcher, wherever you want to buy your lamb from, and you're looking for a lean cut of lamb, and then you finely cube it. You know, pieces about this big because you're not cooking it. That's what tartare is. It's raw meat. And stay with me on this one. Real simple to make. After you've cubed that up, you're going to want to take one whole red chili, chop that up finely so they almost look like pepper flakes, and then you're going to take an 8-ounce jar of Cornichons, or if you got a bigger one, just about 8 ounces. Finally chop up those little pickles. They add a nice little crunch and a foil to everything in the dish. A good handful of mint, also finely chopped. Then you're going to want a tablespoon of mustard. And then with all of that together in the same bowl, you're going to take the squeeze of one orange. So juice it as much as you can. And a quick tip, if you're juicing the orange, you're also going to juice a lemon. If you hold your hand like this as you're squeezing it, you'll catch any of the seeds or the pips that fall out. So you only get the juice in the bowl, so you don't have to worry about somebody biting into a seed. So again, one juice of a whole orange and a lemon, and I believe that covers it. Then we just took a really good rustic bread, toasted that under the broiler with some olive oil on it, plated it up, put some mixed greens on there, just, I don't know, for show, but they're nice to have with it. And that's all there is to it. Honestly, altogether, the hardest part was chopping up the lamb. Maybe altogether this took 15 minutes. It's a really great thing to have as sort of a special occasion that doesn't require a ton of work, but looks like you did. And it is going to be absolutely delightful with this grape, and this version of this grape in particular, Tenuta Luisa's Merlot. So you've heard me talk about Tenuta Luisa before, and I think a really important thing to remember here is we always talk about wine, but this is a family. This is 4th generation family winemakers, and more to the point, they are grower winemakers. And why that's important is they have to farm the land to get the grapes of quality, and grapes of enough quality to make the wine they're trying to achieve. There's a certain mark they're trying to hit. That's really important. This isn't Coca-Cola, folks. We're making really beautiful wine, and it takes a lot of effort. To that point, they're in the northeast quadrant. You've seen me do this before. Way up here, just north of Venice, and that is the area of Friuli, and you're kind of out on this peninsula known as Isonzo, and we're going to dial that in even a little more. And the hamlet they're in is referred to as the Corona because of the mountains around it, kind of like the crown, a crown. And this particular Merlot from this area has a really wonderful, very unique expression. Yes, it tastes like Merlot if you've had it before, but it's got its own little nuance. Here, absolutely some blackberry, a little cassis, really lovely medium to full-bodied red, incredibly satisfying, lovely integrated tannins, and tannins are those drying qualities in the wine, but they just bloom instead of gripping on. So when you put it with something like this, like a kind of a rustic dish or something with a heavy game flavor, like maybe even duck or venison, this wine really springs to life. Of course, roasted meat, mushrooms, but we wanted tartare because it sounded really good to us. And again, really easy to make. Father Eddie, brothers Davide and Michele do an incredible job here. There was a movie that came out, I'm not going to name it, I don't know, I feel like it was 15 years ago. I'm getting older, maybe it was 20. And all they did was pick on Merlot, and it's a real shame because it is one of the great grapes of the world, if not one of the greatest grapes of the world. Absolutely worth exploring, getting refamiliarized, or if you haven't had Merlot before, this is the one to get. Cheers. All right, so we're at the table. We've got this lovely lamb tartare that we're gonna have with this absolutely fantastic Merlot, but as always, there's one thing left we need to match with all of this, and that would be the music. May I? Rumor has it, Stevie Nicks and Merlot go really well together. You can boo me later. Such a great album, probably their best. You could argue that maybe, it's not, but I would say yes, it definitely is. I think what great music for this. This is sort of full-on meal, maybe cocktail kind of mixed in between, and there's just something kind of warm and welcoming about this album, the same thing about the wine, and in my head they just worked really well together. And full disclosure, we did this before we did this, if you will, and it worked really well together, so we kind of cheated, but that's okay. Anyway, I think we'll leave it at that. If you don't have it on vinyl, stream it. Not a big deal. We like to listen to it on vinyl. So we are really looking forward to having this for the first time or having it again. Fleetwood Mac Rumors, Lamb Tartare, and this amazing bottle of Merlot from Tenuta, Luisa. Cheers. Chin chin.